set from the city of Rafah, but did not disclose the timeline. Talks for a ceasefire and hostage release deal stalled again. Hamas blaming Israel for rejecting the latest demands. This is ABC News.
Get ready for grilling season with the Burger Perfection Flight for just $89.99 when you shop omahasteaks.com and use promo code QUALITY at checkout. That's 24 rich and juicy Omaha Steaks pure ground burgers. They're guaranteed to deliver an explosive combination of tenderness, juiciness, and unmatched quality. Each 6-ounce burger is guaranteed to satisfy with every bite. That's omahasteaks.com, QUALITY at checkout to unlock this exclusive deal. Hurry, supplies are limited.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Listen, you can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Oh, righty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Had a good Tuesday afternoon to you, and yes, it is time for the McFarland Show. Here on WNSR, Darren and Justin live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Hope everybody's having a great day. DJ Damon is alongside for the next 2 hours, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. Congratulations to the Connecticut Huskies.
How about that?
UConn gets it done, winning 75-60 over the Boilermakers.
Wow.
Go back-to-back, first team to do that since the Florida Gators did it with one Billy Donovan.
Billy Donovan, Joakim Noah, those guys back in that day, right? Man.
Yep. The young man from Portland, Tennessee.
Man. You know, it seems so long ago that you almost forget about, those teams. It's hard to believe that they were the last ones to go back-to-back. And it's a special moment in college basketball. When you lay it out this way, 6 since 99 for UConn.
Mm-hmm.
That is, that's New England Patriot-esque.
Yeah.
If you look at it from...
That's right.
From that particular landscape, that's about how that stacks up.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
1999, 2004, 2011, 2014, and then back-to-back years.
Man.
23, 24, with 3 coaches, too, by the way.
That's called a good program.
Yeah.
That's called, that's not a good coach. That's a program.
It is interesting how we always refer to the Blue Bloods, and we always say Kentucky, Kansas, North Carolina, Duke. And I get it. They had longer histories of winning.
Yeah.
They've got a longer history of that. But when you think, that's a really good example.
Yeah.
I think when you think about today in the last 2+ decades, like the Patriots run, where they won 6 Super Bowls, lost in 3, went there 9 times. UConn has 6 national championships since '99.
But again, the difference is they've done it with multiple coaches, where New England has done it with one coach mainly. Now, the Patriots have also got other things. You know, the Patriots have actually been a very successful franchise. We're not going to do all that. But I'm just saying they won their Super Bowls with one coach versus the other programs that you're naming won the national championship with multiple coaches. So I think that, to me, there should be a distinction drawn between the two.
They become, really, if you want to get down to it, not to take anything away from the past, but in this era, in this landscape, in the 68 teams, or then it was 64.
Yeah.
In the 64, let's just go with 64 team era of basketball, they only become the 3rd team to ever go back-to-back. Pretty impressive.
That's very impressive.
You had Duke in 91 and 92.
Yeah.
Now, you almost had Kentucky do
Grant Hill, Christian Laettner bunch. Yeah.
You almost had Kentucky do the 3-peat in the 90s, remember?
Yes.
95 was Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
96, they lost in overtime in the national championship game to Arizona.
I wouldn't have got that one.
Miles
Okay, I forgot
Simon,
about it. Okay, yes.
And that crew. They lost in overtime.
Okay.
Pitino leaves. Tubby Smith comes in, wins the first year in 1998. They win over Utah with Keith Van Horn.
Rick Majerus.
Majerus. Yes. So they almost did the 3-peat. They lost an OT in 96. But so you had Duke in 91, 92. You had Billy Donovan, 06, 07, and now Connecticut in this year and last year. What's impressive about this is the margin of victory. It's the largest margin of victory for the entire NCAA tournament ever. You have any idea what they won by an average margin of victory? What it was?
It was in the double
points
digits.
per game.
It was in the double digits, and so I think the average was like 18. Was it 18?
No.
North of that?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. That means it's in the 20s. That means it's around 23 or so.
23.3.
Yeah.
23.3. North Carolina in 09 had an average margin of victory of 20.2. UConn last year in exactly 20 points per game, average margin of victory. 2018 was Villanova, 17.8, Jay Wright. 06 Florida team, 16. 07 Florida team, 15.8. And then Baylor back in 2021, Scott Drew, 15.3. So just think about it.
Yeah.
Not only have they gone back-to-back, it's 2 out of the 3 largest margin of victory in NCAA history.
A lot of people didn't think that it was possible to do this, which is what's made it really impressive. With NIL and the transfer portal, a lot of people thought, you'll never go back-to-back. Those days are over. The teams changed too much. There's too much turnover. And UConn's, proven otherwise. So it's exciting because we don't know it, and oftentimes we don't know when we're witnessing history, but we are witnessing the remaking of how college football and college basketball are going to be good into the future. We're witnessing how it's going to be done. It's not going to be recruiting the guys going to stay 4 years anymore. The style is changing, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it now with UConn.
Do you know how many 5-star recruits were on the floor last night for the national championship game?
Oh, I've heard this stat too. Was it one or none?
One.
It was one, yeah.
One
or none.
5-star recruit on the floor last night.
Yeah.
2 1 seeds, by the way.
Yeah.
This was not San Diego State the year, last year.
Yeah.
This was 2 number 1 seeds. Arguably 2 best teams in the country got there.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
They got there. There was 1 5-star recruit on the floor. 1. So for all the people, bemoaning, good luck, Kentucky. You're not going to. I was in a text chain last night, a thread, and it was like, why would Dan Hurley leave Connecticut to go to Kentucky? I mean, he's got players for 3 and 4 years at Connecticut, and at Kentucky, you only have them for a year. And I was like, you understand that one and done is not a Kentucky thing, right? You understand that?
No, they don't. No, the answer is no.
That's a Calipari thing.
No, Darren.
It's not a Kentucky thing.
People don't know because Calipari is Kentucky. Didn't you know Calipari is the only coach that Kentucky's ever had?
That's ever had and ever done well.
Because that's the only coach I can remember, so therefore they're the only coach they've ever had.
But I bring that up because there are obviously people that think, he's like, why would you leave that? You got players that'll stay at Connecticut and they can, that's how you win today. At Kentucky, you'd have them a year. I'm like, huh?
No.
I was like, that
you got them a year because that's the way they were brought in.
That's not a Kentucky thing.
No.
It was the coach's thing. That's no longer there.
Haven't been through enough yet. They haven't thought about it. It's not their fault. They just haven't thought about it. In this day and age, we got a lot of folks who and listen. I've said this before. When I first got into the media in 1998, when I first met you, I didn't ask a question in a press conference for the first year and a half. Okay, I sat and I listened. I listened to everyone. I listened to people we have on this show. I listened to Teresa Walker. I listened to other names I could call, Jim Wyatt. I listened. And then I learned, and then I said, oh, this is what you do. Okay, now let's talk. Now let's ask questions. And I still screwed it up, but okay. But then we start talking. These days, we don't do that. Now we're just talking. Now UConn's the basketball dynasty. UConn is the best ever. I don't know. Have you ever seen another program as dominant as UConn? UConn is like the best ever. UConn and Caitlin Clark, they are the best ever. Clearly, because we saw it last night. That's as far back as I go.
It is amazing how much we say great, right?
Oh,
GOAT,
no, not just great,
great,
greatest of all
right,
time,
greatest ever.
Ever.
Everything. We get caught up in the moment so much of greatest of all time, greatest ever, GOAT. I mean, it's just thrown around now. Like loose change. It's why does everything have to be? That's not how it works.
I have no idea. I don't know how this
is.
happened.
It only because it's coming from people that don't remember people, before 15 years ago?
Some people do. Some people have been around.
By the way, the person that said that on the text thread is my age. So I was like,
well, why don't you remember?
Bro, you're a huge sports fan. You understand? You think that's a Kentucky thing? No, man, that's not a Kentucky thing.
Listen, if you wanted to search Don Staley and GOAT on social media,
it's there, I'm sure.
It would
Google
blow
search
up all over the place.
Yeah.
And taking nothing away from Don Staley. She is a spectacular basketball coach who deserves every accolade that she's gotten here. But the greatest of all time, let's pump the brakes.
It's amazing.
When she's not even halfway to Pat Summitt, let alone Gino and
is it the best in the last 6 years? Yes.
Yes,
it is.
Yes.
They've won 3 natties.
Excellent.
Yes.
She's excellent.
Okay.
But let's greatest of all time. Oh boy.
Yeah, like there's this lady in East Tennessee, Pat Summitt, that was, there forever and set the standard, put women's basketball on the map.
The problem with Pat Summitt, though, Darren, unfortunately, she's standard definition. You put the highlights on the screen and half the edges are cut off because it's standard. This was before HD, so I don't remember. This happened a long time ago. This Pat Summitt, we mean the 2008? Nobody even remembers back then. It was 2000, man. You need to let that old stuff. You need to let that go. No, I'm talking about what's happening now. It's
Kim Caldwell,
crazy.
Speaking of, did become the third coach post Pat Summitt, and she's going to be the first one out of the family. She was officially sworn in today in Knoxville. She had to raise her right hand and swear to win as many games as possible. In fact, this is really, really interesting. There is a clause in her contract from AD Danny White. If she wins the Natty, she instantly becomes the highest paid women's coach in the sport.
Nice.
And I think it's brilliant.
Nice.
I think, honestly, contracts should be more geared that way rather than just give them the full boat like they did Jimbo Fisher and like they did Mel Tucker and like they did, we can go on and on where they just, and then you got this gigantic buyout Like, how about make them earn it?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Lifetime contract. Get out of here with that stuff. How about incentives?
Makes sense.
I mean, yes, you got to pay them well, but how about incentives? And I think she's only right. That's where I think she's only making $750,000 a year. Only.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I didn't think that number was real though.
Yeah,
I saw it on a like a questionable place. I was like, I don't know if that's right.
I think but to have that in her contract, I think it's brilliant. Because why would Tennessee be worried about that?
I don't know.
They shouldn't be.
I don't know.
If they have to pay her that.
If they're only paying, well, hold on. I don't know what the scale is. So I'm about to speak out over my skis here. Because I don't know how much. I don't know how much Don Staley.
$3 million. Basically, 3.1.
Is that how much Don Staley's getting a year?
Kim Mulkey, Don Staley, Gino. They're all like right at $3 million. Those are the highest paid coaches. I
didn't know what the scale was. Okay, so if that's the case, then that's fine. I'm having a hard time swallowing that the offensive and defensive coordinator at Tennessee is probably making more money than the head women's basketball coach.
Well, come on, man.
I know. Come on. I understand. I'm just saying. I get it. I really do get it. You don't have to give me the sermon. I'm just I understand.
If they hired Don Staley, it wouldn't be $750,000, right?
No, you're right.
It would be they hired someone that spent a year at Marshall.
Yeah,
and then was completely off the grid before that. Nobody knew who she was.
I get it.
So it's her first real gig, big gig, big, huge stage. I don't have a problem with saying, we love you enough to hire you. We believe in you, but you have to earn it. And guess what? If you start winning a ton, you'll get paid more.
Yeah.
I mean, $750,000 is nothing to sneeze at. Right?
No.
I understand. It's
it's just the scale. No, I get it. No, I understand. I'm not pushing back. I get it. I'm just saying that there was that moment of pause in my mind, like 750. But then again, I was unfamiliar with the scale, so I'm I had to rework it and go, okay, well, I guess that's all right. But it just goes to show where we are in the pecking order. We've talked a lot about Pat Summitt and the record-breaking things that she did while at Tennessee and the big shoes that she has to fill right now with this Kim Caldwell with this brand new assignment, and she's getting $750,000, which is less than the offensive and defensive coordinator for the football team.
Remember when Pat and Gino made $1 million a year? It was like massive news.
Yeah. All right.
Massive.
I'm okay. I had a moment.
Because think about what they were making back. Can you imagine what I've heard the stories? Like Pat Summitt, what she made when she took that job, I think was like pizza money.
I've heard
they paid her in pizza money.
Yeah, it was like was it 30 or 40,000?
I don't think it was that much.
Wasn't even that much.
I think it was like 20-something thousand, 20,000.
Was she washing uniforms or something too?
Probably, yes.
She had to go clean up the dorm and wash uniforms. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I understand. That was a long, long time ago, and things have massively changed. Well, yeah, wouldn't we all? Yeah.
Yes, we would. Yes, we would. Yes.
All right, we'll come back. We'll switch gears. We'll talk about the Preds. We'll talk with Michael Gallagher. He covers them. They've got a big game tonight at Winnipeg. They've got something on the line against the Jets. We'll talk to him next here on WNSR.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-240-4917 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-240-4917. That's 800-240-4917. Again, 800-240-4917.
Hey, Tennessee, Jeff Fisher here. Ready for edge-of-your-seat football action? The Nashville Cats are bringing it to you live.
I'm Eli Gold, and we promise you an electrifying experience with every play. Arena football is back. It's furious and full of fun. Join us for the greatest show on turf. Secure your tickets today at thenashvillecats.com and get ready to cheer for your Nashville Cats.
The battle for a 7th straight division crown starts right now. And the East already knows, don't sleep on the Atlanta Braves.
Swung on, hit in a left field, base hit. Here comes Michael. He's going to score. 5-4 Atlanta.
Tonight, it's National League East Baseball from Truist Park as Ronald Acuna and the Braves square up against division rivals, the New York Mets.
Pre-game coverage begins at 6:05 p.m. live on WNS Radio.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
It's true. You can also watch the show. We look pretty good most of the time. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. On our YouTube page, WNSR Live. Type that in, one word, and you can interact with the show there. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. Another way to interact with us. By the way, Nate in Columbia on our text line says, wait, Kentucky basketball existed before Cal? Yeah, it did. Believe it or not. It's crazy.
Oh, boy.
Big one tonight over Bridgestone Arena. Predators have something on the line. They can clinch a playoff berth if they can just eke out a point tonight against the Jets. To talk about that and more, let's go to the phone line. Let's bring in Michael Gallagher, who covers the team. And he joins us. Michael, how we doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys.
So, big night tonight. I can't think of a better, by the way, a proper introduction, for Nashville Hockey Now. Sorry about that. I was trying to figure out, how do you feel about this? What did you think about what happened over the weekend? They get shut out on Saturday. They bounce back. They get behind, and they come win in the shootout on Sunday in New Jersey. What did you think overall of their body of work?
Yeah, I thought the game against the Islanders was definitely a little disheartening. You get shut out. 41 shots on goal, another 33 that were blocked. No matter what they were doing, they just could not put the puck in net. And it wasn't for a lack of trying. And you bounce back 24 hours later against New Jersey, go to a shootout. But I think it was very poetic against the Devils that UC Saros kind of stole that game for him with the great saves that he had in overtime. Considering how hard New Jersey tried to trade for him ahead of the deadline. But I think the Devils game was a great bounce back, and I think that's the kind of answer, if you're Andrew Burnett, that you're looking for. You come back from a very disheartening effort the day before where no matter what, you just could not buy a goal, and then you come back and you beat a team that has struggled but still has a lot of good pieces, and I think that's the kind of effort you're looking for.
How do you think this is, by the way, L.A. jumped Vegas for that third spot. So Vegas is currently 2 points behind the Predators. So the Predators sit in the, I guess, so-called 7 seed. By the way, let me just say this real quick. Let's pause the Preds, and I just want to get your take on. There seems to be again this chatter about the playoffs and the way it's set. They changed it, and what do you make? Are you okay with the current playoff, the way it's set up, or would you like it to be go back the way it was, to be different, add more playoffs? Like what are your thoughts, Michael, today on the current NHL playoff format?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, it's okay. It's not anything anyone's really excited about. I would prefer if they went back to the old way. Like, I think you should do 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, like the traditional playoff format. Like, there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Why you changed it, I don't know. I mean, I get what they're trying to do. Like, you want the top 3 teams from each division and the 2 wild card spots. Like, you want to have intriguing matchups. And there's always going to be an intriguing matchup in the first round when you have 2 teams from the Central playing each other and 2 teams from the Pacific playing each other. And, I get that. But go back to the original format. It worked. It created parity. There were great storylines. The Preds had their great run. I think that was maybe the last year before they changed it. Go back to the old format. There was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And how ironic that tonight's opponent is the Winnipeg Jets. They could clinch, especially with the history of these 2 teams. They don't like each other. But here they sit, and the Predators, look, they're going to get in. So with 4 games remaining for Nashville, Michael, how would you sum up? And I'm going on and fast forwarding. Let's just talk about it today. They're getting in. Okay, we all know this is just formality. How would you sum up this season to this point? Because I don't want to talk about the playoffs. I want to talk about their body of work of what will soon be 82 games. How would you sum up this season?
Yeah, I definitely think if you're a Preds fan, there's a lot to be excited about what's happened so far. I mean, your record is already better than what it was last year. You've seen signs of improvement from a lot of your players. There's a lot of defensive prospects that are NHL ready with Stastny, and you got Delgaizo, and you got some other guys that you just signed. The pipeline is probably as stocked as it's ever been. I feel like it's a good time to be a Predators fan, and I think you talked about a little bit of whether Andrew Burnett should be in the Jack Adams discussion. I do think that he rightfully should be in that discussion. I don't think he should win it by any means, but the job that he's done, considering where this team is right now and where they were around Thanksgiving, I mean, the fact that, the turnaround, I think it would be, other than the Blues, I can't really think of a team turning around from Thanksgiving to making the playoffs that's overcome as many games as the Predators were out of the playoffs at that time. So I think you got to be hopeful that Andrew Burnett is the right guy. Suffered through a couple of years of John Hines, and now this is kind of, I guess, your reward if you want to look at it that way. But, I mean, the offensive system, it took a little bit of time. It was really rough the beginning and the middle of the season, but the 18-game point streak, the fact that, I mean, I wrote a story about this on Nashville Hockey Now yesterday, the fact that there's so many players that are close to notable records. I mean, Forsberg needs 1 more goal to break Matthew Shane's single-season goal record. He's a little bit off from Roman Yossi's record for most points in the season, but it's still kind of attainable. You got Jeremy Lozon chasing the hit record. There's Ryan O'Reilly can break the single-season franchise record for power play goals. Luke Evangelista is having one of the best rookie seasons for any Predators player. There's a lot of stuff to be excited about if you take the entire season in its totality and not just look at, well, they had a really good 18-game point streak and then they kind of suffered a little bit after that, and not look at all of it. Take everything as a whole. I think there's a lot to be encouraged by.
They've also been able to escape the major injury bug, right? And look, you need that. You need that fortune, right? It's a long season. It's a grind. And they, for the most part, have been able to avoid all major injuries, okay? They had some nicks and, guys banged up and missed some games. Yeah, but nothing like last year. So what do you attribute that to? Just good luck? Or maybe is there something to Brunett's system? They've been very, very fortunate on the injury front. Is there anything you could equate that to?
Yeah, I definitely think luck plays a lot into it. I know one of the things going into the season that we all talked about and we saw at the very beginning of the year too was Andrew Burnett even admitted his system, it's very rigorous. It takes a lot out of you. It's relentless. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort to play the way that he wants to play. Therefore, if you're a player on this team and you know that you have a long season ahead of you playing a really hard, tough, physically demanding system, you're probably better conditioned. You're probably taking better care of your bodies. You're probably eating better, probably working out a lot more. So I think luck has a lot to do with it. But I also think, too, knowing what kind of system that the players were in for and what Andrew Burnett was how he was wanting to play. I think that the training and the conditioning also plays a lot into that too.
By the way, pretty cool moment. I think this was last week. Devin Cooley picking up his first NHL victory, albeit for the San Jose Sharks, which, by the way, I think the San Jose Sharks is like the first team to have two guys record their first ever NHL win in the same season for goaltenders, which kind of tells you where they're at this season and where they've been the last several years. But nonetheless, Predators fans, Milwaukee Admirals fans, they know Devin Cooley. Really cool story for him to get his first NHL win.
Yeah, that's definitely a feel-good story. I mean, if you're anybody that knows anything about the Milwaukee Admirals, Devin Cooley was there for a number of years, and he played really well last year. I mean, honestly, he was a big reason why they made it as far as they did in the Western Conference Final, I believe, is where they got before they were eliminated. And Askarov played great, but Devin Cooley really kind of stepped in when he kind of started struggling a little bit in the playoffs, and he really kind of took them as far as they could go. And it's always a little bit bittersweet, right, when you see a player that was here go on and have success somewhere else. I mean, there's still some fans that are pretty salty about the year Connor Ingram's having in Arizona, but when you watch someone like that, and especially, us as reporters getting to interview these players and talk to them and, see him at development camp and rookie camp and really get to kind of know him as a person, like, it was a great story. His family was there. Like, Devin Cooley is one of those guys you root for. He took a chance on himself. He could have easily, last offseason re-signed with the Predators, could have been Askarov's backup in Milwaukee again this year. But he said, I'm ready to be an NHL goaltender. It took him a little bit, but it seems like San Jose might be a place that he actually sticks.
I wanted to ask you, how far away does it feel that UC Saros was on the trading block? Doesn't that seem like that was like 3 years ago? And, it was literally like last month.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think how well Saros has played that, like, at this point last month, 4 weeks ago, like, we were talking about possibly him going to New Jersey. I mean, there were a couple other teams that were interested as well, but it seemed like Saros to New Jersey was really picking up steam, and with the relationship with Trotz and Fitzgerald, it's crazy to think that how well he's playing. That we were honestly talking about there was better than a 50-50 shot that Saros could have been traded.
Yeah, I mean, and it just seems like such a short time ago. So I wanted to ask your assessment about his play. It would seem, according to the numbers, he's down just slightly according to the save percentage. And I've talked before about my hockey journey on this, and I've already asked a couple of other experts about it. But I wanted to get your take. The being down from say 92% to 90% on the save percentage. It doesn't seem like a whole lot, but in goalie language, every little bit counts for a whole bunch. So where do you see him? Has he lost a little bit? Is he the same guy that you've seen in previous years? How do you assess him?
Yeah, I think it's always tough to judge a goaltender when you're breaking in a new coach and you have a new system and guys are learning to play a different way in front of you. And we always, we've had this talk over the years several times of it. It seemed like the team played different in front of Pekka Rinne than it did in front of UC Saros for whatever reason. I don't think anyone ever figured out why that actually was. And I think we're kind of seeing that a little bit now with the way UC Saros played last year compared to the way he's playing this year. I mean, you're talking about forwards and defensemen that are having to play with more speed, more skill, be more aggressive, attack the puck way more than they've been asked to before. Naturally, when you're learning a system like that, that lends itself to having a goalie facing more odd man rushes. Maybe he's giving up a little bit more rebound attempts than he normally would because there's shots coming from different angles, there's different spacing. The defenseman may not be playing as tight in front of him. Like, all these things get factored into it. But if you look at it, through almost the same number of games last year, Saros actually has more wins. His goals against average is .280 now. It was .269 last year, so it's not that big of a difference. The save percentage last year was a little bit higher, .919. Now it's .908. So I think that's probably the save percentage is probably the biggest thing I would say is noticeable for me. But since the Predators, since the trade deadline, I'll say, Saros has been, a top 5, top 10 goalie. I think he's 7-2-1. He's got a .911 save percentage, a .266 goals against average. Like, if you take just from the trade deadline up until now, he's playing like vintage UC Saros. And I made the point, against the Devils, the odd man rush attempts that they had in overtime, he made 2 fantastic saves that looked like the UC Saros we're used to. We've talked about he's always been, a slow starter. It's always taken him a little bit to figure it out, and that seemed like that was the case now. And it's got to be encouraging knowing that he's playing some of his best hockey right now heading into the playoffs.
It would certainly seem like he is. Now, I wanted to ask about the team and their scoring output here. The Preds this year are averaging around 3.2 goals a game here. Of course, we know scoring last year was a ginormous problem. Of course, Andy Burnett coming in and making the changes here. Is it just his system, or guys playing any better? Is it the new mix of guys? Like, what has happened? Have they bought in? Like, how is this team scoring at the rate that they are right now when they couldn't find a goal last year?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of all of it. I think it's the players buying in. I think it's the system finally bearing fruit, whether it's whatever he's teaching them is finally clicking, whether they finally have the healthy bodies in the right places. I think having the right lineup has a lot to do with it as well. I mean, the first half of the season, I think Juuso Parson played on every line multiple times. I mean, you had Phil Tomasino get sent down, Parson gets sent down, Cody Glasson out of the lineup, Novak in out of the lineup. You had, at the trade deadline, you had Zucker and you had Beauvillier. I mean, you take Trennan.
Uh-oh. You get zapped? I think you
Bell.
No, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. They just needed time, and we said this when they acquired Ryan McDonough, when they were talking about where's he going to play, and they put him with Matthias Ekholm, and Ekholm said, I think it was one of the very first training camps, he's like, look, it's going to take us 30, 40, 45 games for us to develop that chemistry. That because you're like, well, that's half of a season right there. In reality, that's kind of what it took for the offense to figure it out too. And since February point streak, they have the third best offense in the NHL. They're 3.75 goals per game, and they're giving up the second fewest goals per game over that span too. If you take it just from February 17th until now, they're offensively and defensively.
Be interesting to see how it all plays out. I think they're gonna get their at least a point, and they're gonna clinch their playoff spot, and then we'll start talking about that first round matchup. Michael, appreciate the visit as always. Enjoy the game. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, he covers the Predators for Nashville Hockey Now, does a great job. We always appreciate him joining the show. Big one tonight at Bridgestone Arena. Predators and Winnipeg Jets. All they need is a point, just a point, and they clinch a playoff berth. Again, this is all formality. They're going to get in. But once it gets official, then we can turn the page and start thinking about, okay, now what's the best matchup?
Yeah.
Right.
Man, that's what we
actually can do that now, but
but
we'll
they got to beat somebody here, in the first round. That's what we're talking about. They got to
100%.
We've gotten
we've done that. Yeah. We've talked about that, and again, that's our thoughts, that's our feelings. All right, 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. We're wide open the rest of the hour. If you want to get involved in the McFarland Show, you can do that next as you listen here on WNSR.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
Hello, I'm Greg Figueroa.
And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce.
That's right, David. We made Melinda's thicker, hotter, and better than ordinary hot sauces.
And now we have 32 exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Melinda's also has 5 spicy ketchups made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I, what makes Melinda so good? That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on flavor.
Go to melindas.com to find our line of craft condiments at Walmart and other fine retailers. And right now, get 20% off our award-winning sauces with code SPORTS at melindas.com. That's melindas.com. melindas.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use?
No, it's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIFT for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code LIFT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIFT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIFT.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
All this has been great so far for Rand Carthon. Like, this offseason has been a really good offseason for the Titans. I mean, they really have knocked it out of the park here in the last week, right? I mean, Calvin Ridley, this trade, obviously landing Cushenberry.
Yeah.
Everything that they've done really has been really good.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
Five-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio WNSR Skyscan forecast. Today, variably cloudy, widespread showers and isolated thunderstorms, high 66. Cloud showers and isolated thunderstorms tonight and Wednesday, low tonight 58. Wednesday's high 74. Showers and a thunderstorm Thursday. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi. Sports Radio WNSR.
You're listening live from the Strike and Spare Studios, downtown Music City. It's the McFarland Show.
All true. By the way, don't forget to download that WNSR app where you can listen to us anywhere in the world. It's free and easy to do. You can also go to WNSR.com and listen live. Braves and Mets, game 2 tonight down in Atlanta. 6:05 is the beginning of the coverage. 6:20 first pitch. All heard right here on these airwaves. Darren and Justin here with you. We're live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio on this Tuesday afternoon. DJ Damon, hit it! Now it's time for the Opinionated Larry question of the week. Sponsored by buyatow.com. Call 615-480-6473. Get cash in your hand today and that vehicle hauled away. With that being said, pinch hitting for Opinionated Larry is Ron Jasmine. Ron, how we doing?
Doing great. Hello, Mac and Mac, two brothers from mothers. This is Ron representing Opinionated Larry. The boss had him working in over today. Shouts out to the women's NCAA basketball, South Carolina over Iowa, as well as the NCAA men's UConn over Purdue for back-to-back championship wins. My question right now is are you in agreement with the NAIA now bans on transgender women athletes from women's sports, which says that only students who were assigned the female gender at birth can compete in women's sports? Are you in agreement with that, Mac and Mac?
Okay.
Might be a subject y'all haven't
I'm
studied.
not sure what that is.
That's crickets.
Is that crickets?
That's crickets.
That's crickets? Okay. It sounds more like a cell phone.
I got something I can play.
Crickets.
It sounds more like a cell phone. I'm not sure about crickets or what it is. Ron, to address the question, this is something that's been in the news as I switch hats over here for just a second. This is something that's been in the news quite a bit over on the other side.
That's a better cricket sound.
That is a much better cricket sound. I really thought you were making a cell phone sound. That's what I really thought. I was like, is this a cell phone? Is he getting another call? Is that why he's doing this? My only question about any of this is I just wonder how many situations have we had where this has been a an issue. I understand that a lot of people are talking about this. I can't say I've seen enough about a whole lot of people getting jostled about this to really make a call. I mean, if this is what they've decided, I understand. But again, I think that a lot of people have made a lot of noise about something that I'm not sure has happened a whole lot on a grand scale to the point to where there need to be, dramatic shifts and things like that. That's kind of where I'm coming from on it.
Honest question. Is there any examples out there?
I think there's a few on some swim teams here and there.
Yes, but not.
But
Ron said basketball, right?
No, the whole thing.
Okay. I didn't know if he was asking about basketball.
It's the whole NAIA that's making this ruling.
Well, there was some questions a few years ago about a couple of basketball players that were kind of like trying to get in or something like that. And I think it kind of went through it. But I haven't seen any examples of that.
I understand why people are talking about it. I need to. I don't know. Where all this is coming from in the landscape of we've been hurt by this, and they gave this championship to this other person. I'm sure it's happened, but that's where I'm coming from.
I know Dawn Staley was asked after she just won a national championship on Sunday.
Yeah, she was. I did see that as well. And she seemed like she knew about as much about it as the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ron, that's where we are.
All right, he's gone. That was the question.
That's it?
That was the question.
All right.
That was the question of the day, sponsored by buyandtow.com. Call 615-480-6473. Get cash in your hand today and that vehicle hauled away. Let's go to Tony in Nolansville, who I'm pretty sure doesn't have the same question. Tony, what's up?
I do not, gentlemen. I'll leave that to the other hires to make that decision and cause them.
People that get paid a lot more money than us.
On it.
Yeah, people that get paid a lot more money than us.
But I'm going to keep it political. Say that again.
I said we'll leave that up to people who get paid a lot more money than us to handle all that.
Absolutely. But y'all were mentioning the crazy. Justin, I think you asked your guest a while ago about the craziness of just last month. Soros was being talked about being traded.
Yes, sir.
Think of these three crazy scenarios, guys, that I happened to think of just last night. Right now, I think a lot of people feel that Kentucky football is better than the basketball program where it's at now. Florida's basketball program is better than its football program. And if that's not crazy enough, in the same building, you're now going to have Petrino, who was once at Louisville, in the same building possibly to where Calipari, who's from Kentucky, going to be in the same building. And, that's just really bizarre that the world of sports, the way things evolve, that's what we're looking at now. So,
what would Petrino and Calipari be in the same building have anything to? I understand.
Just one was at Louisville, one was at Kentucky, and one was in football, granted, and one was in basketball. But just the irony of it between the two being now possibly in there. Maybe, who knows, maybe Petrino will give him a ride on his Harley. Give Calipari a ride on the Harley.
I think they've already done that there at Arkansas. I think that's already been done.
Darren, last night, don't know if you were aware of this, but Brian Reynolds, former Vandy boy, hit his 100th Major League home run last night for the Pirates.
Well, good for him. Awesome. He's
good
the highest paid.
He signed
highest paid player ever in the Pirates' history. That's the biggest contract they've ever given out.
Right. And last night he hit his home run. I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good for him, really good for him. And, guys, one last thing I've heard over the airways. I'm tickled to know that y'all will be, in essence, the leadoff of 4 hours of WNSR Radio Sports Talk. AM 564 straight hours of y'all's show and then going into the George Plaster show. that George will be coming back. I think he'll be coming on after y'all, correct?
That is correct. April 29th, good sir.
That is great. I've been following George for a long time. George and I, we've been friends, known each other for a long time, and I'm glad to know he's coming back to WNSR and where people can call back in and talk to him. And it's going to be a good 4 hours each evening listening to you guys and then the Plaster Show. So good for WNSR, and I think it's good for all of Nashville and the callers and listeners. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Tony. We happen to agree with you 100%, but we're also very biased.
We are biased.
Very biased.
Yes, we are.
There you go. Hey, thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Good
Tony.
show.
Yeah, April 29th, starting that Monday, the George Plaster Show.
No, don't put crickets on for George. Come on now. That's not what we want at all. For that's okay. Thank you, Dan.
That's how I felt after that question.
Yeah, I know, but we moved on. We the question it was several minutes ago.
Darren, you are.
We were several minutes ago. Several minutes ago with the question. Now we're talking about George Plaster.
Okay, you want some applause?
Yeah, whatever you got over there for George. Actually, I just want to go to break at this point.
Yeah,
because
we just
need to hit the
segment.
reset button on this whole thing.
Let's do that. Let's hit a quick reset and come back and wrap up the first hour of the McFarland Show, WNSO.
Man.
In a single moment, everything can change. When a player's sudden cardiac event brought a national football game to a halt, it shone a spotlight on the importance of CPR readiness. Now, with youth sports in full swing, the American Heart Association is rallying parents and coaches to be ready in an emergency. To be ready, learn hands-only CPR. It's a skill anyone can learn in minutes. Visit heart.org/hands-only-CPR and become a lifesaver today.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
And now, the fine folks at FMR Construction Services are on the air, proudly saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military, both past and present. Thank you. This message is courtesy of FMR Construction Services, your certified pros. For commercial and residential roofing, general contracting, and painting needs, call FMR Construction Services today at 615-788-7662. 615-788-7662.
It's
JB and the General.
You're 6'9" for Joe Alton and ran a good 40. 5:04, I believe was.
I think I saw a little bit of his workout. It looked like he was moving around pretty well.
Looked good. I will say this though: Chargers at 5, he's going to play right tackle for them. So if he makes it past then, maybe you can get him to the Titans at 7. But apparently he's not making it past number 5.
Really?
So it is unfortunate.
Weekdays 9 to 11, live on WNSR.
The McFarland Show. Video streaming live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube from the Strike and Spare studio.
This is coming from Athletics Director Mitch Barnhart, the University of Kentucky. We're appreciative of John Calipari leading our program for the last 15 years, adding to the legacy of championship success at Kentucky. We're grateful to John for his many contributions to the university and for our state, both on and off the court. We are working diligently to hire a proven, highly dedicated coach who embraces the importance of this program to our fans and the state of Kentucky. Now, pretty interesting report. Justin, I sent this to you. Our buddy, legendary writer, Dick Gabriel.
Oh, yeah.
Broadcaster. And we had him on the show. In fact, it was when I was in late September. It was when I was in Pigeon Forge for a Ripken tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Friday afternoon, sitting there in our cabin, and we had Dick Gabriel on. I remember that show quite well. And he put out there that John Calipari, I guess, went to Mitch Barnhart today.
Yeah.
And said, this is what Arkansas is offering.
Mm-hmm.
If you want me to stay, that's what you're going to have to match. And Mitch Barnhart said, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Which I'm not surprised.
May his peace be with you.
Yeah, look, this thing was Arkansas did Kentucky or Mitch Barnhart a huge favor because I don't think he was going to move on from him, but Mitch Barnhart, I'm sure, was aware that things are getting really, really, really I've told you the natives are restless.
Yeah.
It's getting awkward.
Yeah.
He knows it.
Uncomfortable.
It's getting uncomfortable. There's a great word.
Mm-hmm.
Uncomfortable, awkward. He knows it. And basically, he's thinking about divorce, but he knows that he signed a prenup. And he's like, man, I got to give him $34 million for this divorce, $33 million, whatever the exact number was. And here comes Arkansas. You know what? I got your prenup, and I'm going to tear it up. How about that?
Yeah.
Here's your divorce, and I'm going to tear up your prenup. Hip, hip, hooray! That's what Mitch Barnhart did. Like, holy cow, right?
Yeah.
Because he knows if he had to make a move, he's got to be talking to some really important people to dig into their pockets, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really important people.
Yeah.
People that are very wealthy and, hey, can you give me $3 million? Hey, can you give me $4 million?
Yeah.
You, Justin?
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to tell you this to your face. I know you got a little bit less. Can you give me 2?
Yeah.
Maybe 2.5?
Yeah. Help us out here.
Yeah. Right. And then, there's going to be others where, you know how it works?
Yeah. I do.
They came in and tore up the prenup and said, here's your divorce.
Yeah.
That's pretty, in today's landscape, you hardly ever get that.
True.
Ever.
True. It was the bailout.
It was the bailout of all bailouts.
Bailout really for both parties.
I agree. Of course. Look, he did the same thing as Tubby Smith.
I'm sure if Cal had his choice, I don't know if he would go to Arkansas, but we'll take it. It's not, we're getting out of Lexington.
It's a better landing spot than what Tubby got when he left Kentucky.
Yeah.
He went to Minnesota.
Minnesota. I mean, so, you take what you got. And by the way, it's not like Cal has to coach. Cal could retire today. Cal don't have to be out there coaching.
No, he's
It's not like Cal is, I got to coach or else. Or else what?
The new Lady Vols coach was sworn in today in East Tennessee in Knoxville. We'll hear a little bit of what she had to say to begin the second hour of the program. We'll do that next on WNSR.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Arizona's Supreme Court upholding a Civil War-era ban on abortions more strict than the recent 15-week abortion law. The White House called the law extreme. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre blaming former President Trump.
When the president's predecessor handicapped 3 Supreme Court justices to overturn Roe v. Wade, it paved the way for the chaos and confusion we're seeing play out across the country today.
Yesterday, Trump announced abortion rights should be left up to states to decide. The CDC warning many socially vulnerable women are not getting recommended mammograms. In a new report, a group of specialists now recommending women starting at the age of 40 should get screened for breast cancer every other year, instead of the earlier recommendations that women 50 to 74 should get mammograms every 2 years. Final guidelines by the CDC will follow. Today is the final day of the month-long holiday Ramadan. Tomorrow, Muslims will begin Eid, marking the break in fasting. This is ABC News.
Get ready for grilling season with the Burger Perfection Flight for just $89.99 when you shop omahasteaks.com and use promo code QUALITY at checkout. That's 24 rich and juicy Omaha Steaks pure ground burgers. They're guaranteed to deliver an explosive combination of tenderness, juiciness, and unmatched quality. Each 6-ounce burger is guaranteed to satisfy with every bite. That's omahasteaks.com, QUALITY at checkout to unlock this exclusive deal. Hurry, supplies are limited.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Progressive presents Good News, Bad News, Dumb News, then Great News. Good news. A letter in your mailbox says you could save money bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. You saw it after your teenager backed the car into the mailbox. Dumb news. A new mailbox, basically a box on a stick, costs up to $400. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and go with paperless mail instead. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Oh, righty there.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour of the McFarland Show here on this Tuesday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. Darren and Justin with you. We're live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Doug on our text line says, hey, DJ Damon, time to cue up Boys to Men for Calipari and the University of Kentucky's relationship breakup. I mean, we are putting DJ Day. Yesterday, we had a lot of Eclipse themes. Total Eclipse of the Heart. Okay. Bonnie Tyler. And then the other one. What was the other one we played? It was
Bill Withers.
Oh, Bill Withers. Yes.
Ain't
yes,
no
yes.
sunshine.
Oh, so we had that rolling yesterday. So DJ Damon, another request from Doug on the text line.
With
also,
the end of the road there.
Kevin, yes, with the end of the road, which is a great song, by the way.
Absolutely.
I used to listen to it on cassette.
We have to practice.
Wear that out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right? Was that cassette or CD?
No, that was cassette.
Cassette, right?
That was cassette.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was cassette.
Yes.
And I'm not even going to explain it. If you don't know what that is, I'm not going to explain it. Kevin on our text line says Tom Mars, noted sports attorney, totally called out the Matt Jones and Dick Gabriel and said that counter by Cal rumors was not true. Okay.
All right.
Well, I saw we're on 3 also put something out there.
Yeah.
Quoting Dick Gabriel. And I don't know about, I've seen Matt Jones commenting a lot. I don't know if Matt Jones was in on that too, but so that's it. On 3 was out there, which is Shannon Terry and his crew. They put out there that story
Somebody
about
was
Dick Gabriel.
saying something.
So that's interesting. Okay. So he said, she said, I don't know who's.
True.
A lot of fingers pointed. Okay. But Kevin, thank you for pointing that out. I had not seen that from Tom Mars, the sports attorney. All right. Today in Knoxville, just a little, was it what, about an hour before our show started?
Yes.
Kim Caldwell is the new Tennessee women's basketball coach. She spent a year last year at Marshall. She was sworn in today. Here's a little bit of what she had to say.
Obviously, an enormous part of why we're here and why women's basketball and women's sport at large is where it is in this country is because of the legendary Pat Summitt. We understand the enormous responsibility that being a caretaker and a steward of this program has because of all that she accomplished here. And also want to thank Holly Warlick and all the contributions she made as head coach of our program. This is only the 4th head coach of our women's basketball program we'll be introducing today, which is a rare thing in college athletics these days. So historic program, historic moment, and gives us great excitement about our future. We had a great search committee of athletics leadership in our athletic administration. Want to thank all of those. I won't list them, but you know who you are. A lot of folks put in a lot of time on this search. We took it obviously extremely seriously, but the time investment and the work involved was significant. Our student athletes were awesome. Met with our team first, as y'all have heard me talk about before. It's the first thing we always do.
Okay,
Some
great stuff.
Technical difficulties there. Unsure exactly what was going on with the sound there, but we sent a full clip over there, so we'll figure out what's going on with that. But that was Danny White. Danny White, of course.
Obviously, we weren't looking for a
all right, we're ready. Continue on now.
That got us back
Action.
to being maybe more relevant. We wanted someone with an enormous upside and trajectory, and I'll tell you why I think we found that. Different styles of play. We're open to all sorts of ways to approach the game, but obviously we're never going to hire a head coach that lacks integrity, strong character, someone who cares about student athletes is in coaching for the right reasons. We have that person. We wanted somebody who's competitive and confident. You'll see we have a very competitive new coach, and someone who wasn't afraid of the challenge to restore this legendary program to where we all want it to be. I've talked about this before in introducing coaches, folks, and a lot of speculation around coaching searches. We like to talk about names. Interviews do matter. In a search, we pay a lot of attention to the research we do. We do a lot of research beforehand, but the interviews do matter. And I think everyone on our committee would tell you there was one interview that stood out above the rest, and it was in a significant way, really impactful. Interviewed in terms of who she is as a leader, as a person, how she presented herself, the style of play, I think is very compelling. Where the game is going, I think it resonates with our current players. I saw that. Was happy to see y'all smiling when I was introducing Kim to you. But I think in terms of prospective players in the future, it's a compelling and exciting style of play for fans. I think if you like what you're seeing in Neyland Stadium in terms of the amount of points we score, I think you're going to like what you see on the basketball floor with the offensive and defensive attacking competitive style of play. We will in very short order have the fastest style of basketball in the country. So really excited about Kim and introducing her to you today. I think she's going to not only make an enormous impact with our current student athletes, but build a program that's distinctive and allows us to compete with some extremely formidable opponents in the Southeastern Conference and get back to competing for national championships.
The part of history that I need no catching up on is Pat Summitt's legacy. and how powerful the Lady Vols family is. When I say I am honored and humbled to be here, there is not a single person who has gone through this program that I could even come close to beating one-on-one. It is a remarkable program. I can't wait to connect with our former players and listen to their stories, hear their history, and pass on what it means to be a Lady Vol and represent that in our program. Pat Summitt changed the game of basketball, and wouldn't she love to see where the game is now? I will never be Pat Summitt. Nobody can. But I will strive every day to be somebody that she would be proud of. I am so excited to get to work with this team. I got to meet them Sunday night. They're a great group with a big personality, and they are hungry to get back to the top of the SEC. We're going to play an exciting brand of basketball. We want to play fast. We want to play up-tempo. We want to be the hardest playing team in the country. And we want to give Lady Vol Nation something very exciting to watch. I know what this job means, and I am honored to be here. I will work every day to make sure I take care of this special program and give God his glory in the process.
Thank you. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you.
Rick Russo, WVLT Vol Network affiliate. I would venture to say passion had something to do with it, but what drove you initially to the coaching profession, and talk about the path taken to eventually lead you here to Rocky Top?
When I was younger, I loved basketball, and I always wanted to play basketball as long as I could. And I was a 5'10" post player, so I learned pretty quickly in my career that it wasn't going to be there was nothing after college in my future. And so I knew that coaching was the route I needed to take. My dad was my high school coach. He coached us from the time that we were in elementary school all the way up. And I saw his passion. I saw how hard he worked, and I wanted to be exactly like him. And so he's the reason that I got into coaching. And I was able to work with him. He was my assistant at Glenville State the entire time up until he passed away in 2021. And so I learned a lot from him. And he did a great job of teaching me how to be a leader without ever having to say a word.
Cora Hall with the Knoxville News Sentinel. You mentioned you are well familiar with the history of this program. Just for you, why do you feel like you're ready to take on that challenge of the expectations of this program?
You want to be somewhere where the expectations are high. I've had a lot of opportunities in my career to look at jobs, and I was never interested in a job that did not have high expectations, did not have a loyal fan base, did not have a hungry crowd that wanted to pay attention to what was going on. And so I think that that is something that makes this program incredibly special. And I'm going to work very, very hard to make sure that we keep it there.
Welcome, Coach KCK, WAT Sports. Has it clicked totally that you are the head coach of Lady Vol basketball? And if so, what was that moment where it really clicked for you?
It hasn't really clicked yet. There are sometimes I have to just remind myself, right? I'm really here. I'm really seeing what I am seeing. It's an incredible opportunity, and I'm so grateful for that. But no, it has not clicked yet, and I will let you know when it does.
John Wilkerson, the Sports Animal. Welcome, Coach. You just did this a year ago, and I'm curious, what timeline do you have set? What do you prioritize in terms of putting a staff together and just starting to prepare for your first year as the head coach of the Lady Vols?
Yeah, there's a lot to do. So we need to get a great staff put in place. I need to form relationships with the current players that are here. And then we need to make some additions and get in the portal and start to recruit. And so it's all hands on deck right now.
Ryan Sylvia, Rivals.com. Just how much does turning around a program last year at Marshall, what does that experience give you this year trying to do it again?
It's helpful. It is helpful. It's nothing that I planned. I was planning to be at Marshall for quite some time, and this was not something that we planned to do. But it does help the fact that less than a year ago I was doing a press conference, and less than a year ago I was trying to recruit the roster that we had while recruiting another team and put a staff together. And so it's familiar in that sense.
Jack Schurz, the Daily Beacon. Coach, what are your expectations just for this first year?
We want to be the hardest playing team in the country. We want to establish our culture. We want to score a lot of points and be an exciting.
I think that's good enough. I'm done. You get the gist of it.
You do.
I don't know why it's cutting out. But look, here's the thing we talked about with Vince Ferrari yesterday.
Yeah.
At the Sports Animal. They're going to be high tempo, okay? She's going to I told you the best example I could think of is a lot like Nate Oates. Like they're going to get up and down the floor. They're going to want to shoot threes, lots of threes, and score. The question is, and it's interesting, right? Because what we talked about all year long with Alabama is what? What was their Achilles heel? It was defense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we stated all the numbers.
Yep.
The Ken Palm numbers and the analytics going into the tournament. And Kentucky and Arkansas, there was a group of teams that just didn't have the defense, right, to back up you picking them for a long run. Now, remember, it was about winning a national championship, which, oh, by the way, UConn and Purdue were both in that category.
That's
of
correct.
Offensive adjustment and defensive adjustment. Both of them were in the margins to win a national championship.
Happen again.
People that were out of the margins, that was that list, they were not on that. So, and by the way, they won, and both of them were in the national championship game. So the question is that I don't know is, okay, but how is there, how are they going to play defense? Because a lot of times, you know how that works.
Yeah.
If you could score, but if you have a poor shooting night, well, guess what that usually leads to if you don't play any defense? It's going to end up in a loss.
The question is defense a priority? Is defense a priority
Right.
for this basketball team, or are they going to try to outscore everybody? With the physical, and this happened if you were watching the Iowa South Carolina game, the biggest difference in that game for South Carolina was just their physicality. It didn't matter. They just weren't. They were going to chip and poke, and they towered over Iowa much of that ball game. The physical nature of playing SEC basketball may stop some of the high tempo that she's got in mind. I don't know. Maybe it won't. Maybe, she's got a plan to override some of that. But, the teams are very, very athletic. They're very, very big. And I just question whether or not you're going to have the athletes, you're going to have the horses, you're going to have the people that you need in order to overcome some of those, some of the things that you want to do on offense. That is gonna, because teams like South Carolina, they're gonna jam you up once they decide. Listen, we're locking down this defense. Then what can you do in the half court game? Or is it all wide open, fast break? Seattle Supersonics of the 1990s. Gary Payton to Sean Kemp type of basketball. That's fine, but at some point you got to play a half court game somewhere. And what does that look like? Those are all questions that they've got to figure out over the next few months here.
Yeah. All right. By the way, going back to our text line, Kevin did say Matt Jones works for On3. I did not. I was unaware that he worked for On3. So that's why I saw On3 put something out there. But interesting stuff. We'll come back. We're wide open the rest of the hour if you want to get involved in the show. Tons going on. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. As you sit here on this Tuesday and you listen to the McFarland Show on WNSR.
Pick a number between 0 and 9. That's right. Now pick another one. Right again. Now pick one more. Wow, you're on a roll. Now, if you only would have played them. Play your lucky numbers today with 3 daily drawings and top prizes of $500 to $5,000. And add Wild Ball for more winning combos. Cash 3 and Cash 4. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing, moolah-making fun. Please play responsibly.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-617-0239. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-617-0239. That's 800-617-0239. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Your brain is an amazing thing. But as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times national survey of pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You enjoy the thrill of gambling, but what happens when it becomes a problem? Whether you want to cut back or quit gambling altogether, the Gambling Clinic has been helping people change their gambling for over 2 decades. We're here to help, not to judge. The Gambling Clinic is a Tennessee-based clinic offering in-person and telehealth support to help people win back their life. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
It's JB and the General.
Really, I'd say if a move isn't made within the next 48 hours after the season's conclusion, maybe that's your answer.
Yeah, I agree. If this is not immediate, because it shouldn't have to be anything Candace has to think about. You know, she should be all in one way or the other. He's coming back or he's gone. Like, that decision should already be made. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yes. Weekdays 9 to 11, live on WNSR.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
If you're looking to go over to the Hawk today, Vanderbilt hosting MTSU. Love these games. Little backyard games. They have moved it up to 4 o'clock today. I guess for pending weather. But 4 o'clock is the start for Vanderbilt and MTSU today at the Hawk. And it is also Bark in the Park Day. So you can bring your dog.
Bring Fido with you. Have a time.
Bring Fido.
Yes. Have a time.
You know, it is interesting when we reference dogs, we use Fido, but have you ever known anyone to have a dog named Fido?
Not since the 1950s, which I was not around. So the answer is no.
Yeah, me either.
The answer is no.
But it is a reference that we all get.
Yes.
But nobody knows anyone
No.
that has a dog named Fido.
I think they call it Tail Wagging Tuesdays or something over there with the sounds.
Yes, they do that. I mean, it's a pretty common thing now with baseball.
Yeah.
But Bark in the Park today at the Hawk. Vandy and MTSU. Speaking of baseball,
yeah,
you know, the one, but we had the national championship game last night. A lot of stuff going on, but the only baseball story, I saw the Braves lost to the Mets 8-7. Pirates are off to a really good start, and my Guardians are off to a really good start.
Yeah.
But I also noticed what caught my eye is your Cubs game in San Diego last night. Oh, yeah. Justin did not check in on his
No, I haven't
Cubbies.
checked it. Listen, life is busy sometimes.
Yeah.
It's 162 games. It's hard to catch them all. So
you didn't get game 8 or whatever it was?
No, I did. What had happened?
They were up 8-0 in the 6th.
Oh, couldn't hold on.
And they lost 9-8.
Yeah, well, that sounds like
Damon said, in the 6th?
The 6th, didn't it?
Yes.
Cubs more
give
innings
up. That's
to
what
go.
I said in the 6th inning.
Yeah.
3 more innings to go.
They gave up 9.
I see a crucial number here on the box score, and that's 2 errors. I'm guessing the 2 errors probably has something to do with what had
I know
happened.
there were some home runs in there, and what was it? What's his name? Gosh, what am I drawing? Who's the superstar?
Tatis.
Yes, Tatis. Thank you.
Yeah, Tatis.
He did a little bat flip home run to take the lead. He's the one that gave him the 2-run homer to give him the lead. It was 8-7.
Yeah.
In the 8th, he had a 2-run dinger to make it 9-8.
Listen, again, my spirit as a Cub fan is much calmer now. And I know it was 8 years ago.
Oh, so you're still living on that. You're done?
off
You're
it.
good?
I'm not living off it, but I'm less irritated. So there's a difference. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it's great or everything is fine. I'm just saying that it doesn't feel as bad because you've worked and waited so long for this other thing, and it's happened now. So it turns down. Again, this is all about temperature. It turns down the temperature. I was in Kansas City a few years ago when they hadn't won 0 Super Bowls. They hadn't been in a Super Bowl in 50 years. Temperature was pretty high. It's pretty thick. All right, people were hostile, literally hostile to other people from out of town with different colors. Not winning in 50 years would do that to somebody.
Okay, so with that being said, we've talked about it at length on this show. There's nothing here, right? No parade here.
No.
25 years of professional
We
sports.
had a parade, but
Well, okay. I'm saying
for those who were here, you guys know there was a parade here.
The parade. Yeah. It was nice. It was great.
In
But I'm talking
retrospect,
about.
I don't know if we should have done that.
Nah,
but but it was very cool though.
No, you do because
You did that?
that was
Okay.
year one.
It was year one.
You
of
know
the
what
Titans,
I mean? Yeah, year one. Really.
Yeah,
I understand. They, I don't know if you count Memphis and then you got Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I get it.
But the Preds, that was, they just.
I get it.
So year 2, I guess maybe. I don't know. Maybe it actually is year 2.
It was
I don't
year
know.
1 of the Titans, year 1 of the stadium.
Yes. So I don't have a problem with that. But we know we haven't had the parade.
No, we haven't.
But I keep hearing this theme again, and we're not lecturing. We're just giving our opinions, it's what we're paid to do on this show.
It's kind of why we're here.
And we've been here from the beginning. Again, we remember the parade in, I guess it was 2000.
Yeah, January of 2000.
January of 2000.
Or February of 2000, I guess, because it was late January.
Well, remember, there was the 2-week. Remember, the Super Bowl was much earlier
the
then.
Super Bowl was the 30th. Or I want to say it was the 29th or 30th of that year.
Well, then.
Super Bowl was like the last.
Then it was January.
It's February. The parade was February. They did the parade after the Super Bowl, not before.
No, I thought they did it after they beat Jacksonville.
No, I thought the parade happened after they lost to the Rams.
No.
Why were they throwing a parade before? I need to look it
maybe
up.
you're right. Maybe you're right.
I need to look
now
it up.
I'm starting to get blurred lines.
That doesn't. So they threw a parade in the week between?
Yeah, no, I guess they didn't.
No,
I don't know why.
No,
you're right because they didn't even have the 2 weeks.
No,
it was just a week that year.
Yeah, it's February.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sorry, scratch that. I don't. Man, I just had a brain cramp.
You're gonna have me check it. I mean,
no. You're right.
Anyway,
you're right. That doesn't make any sense.
It's beside the point. Continue.
So,
because you're trying, I know where you're going with the bigger point. So let's
because I just hear a lot of people like they're just. It's like okay, like this Predators thing. It's just house money, and it's cool. Whatever happens, happens. And I keep scratching my head, going, I don't understand that. I don't. Since when is it house money? I don't. House money? How?
Well,
it's like a free pass here. How?
Depends on what your expectations are. Again, that's how that happened.
If that was your expectations,
yes,
then your expectations were wrong.
Well,
because I'm telling you, as I've said on the show all year, I talked to people over there, and they were going into this season with expectations of, we believe this team is a playoff team. Now, they weren't out there advertising that.
No, they were not.
But that's what their belief was inside the building. They were a playoff team. They could be a playoff team. Again, as we've stated on this show, what's the big deal about that in this market? Which is great.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Why shouldn't we be accustomed to them being a playoff team? That's basically what they've been the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
So what? That's crazy talk? Again, they've basically been a playoff team for the last 2 decades. Because you have to eliminate the first 5 years.
Yeah.
Because they didn't get the same jump like Vegas and Seattle.
They didn't. So it's 16 and 20.
They had to shop at the Goodwill bin.
This will be 16 out of 20.
And there's nothing wrong with Goodwill, but, guess what?
Absolutely.
Vegas and Seattle got to go to Macy's.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So they
Setup was
got to build it a lot differently.
Setup was different.
So I don't understand the mentality of like, it's all cool. It's great. It's great. Well, it is great, but it's like the point is no matter what, it's awesome. Like, it's cool. Like, so what? If they go out first, really? Like, I don't unless you're brand new. Are you brand new here? Okay.
Yeah, it depends
but
on
I haven't
where
heard
you
that.
are.
I haven't heard that I've heard that from people who've been here for a while. And I'm like, so what? Why is this a pass year?
Those people have soft expectations for the team. They do. They have soft expectations. It doesn't mean you have to. And I don't know if we're making a mistake here telling people what the expectations should be for the team. Every fan has their own expectations of what they think the team should do from year in and year out. For some people, they're fine as long as the team plays hard and represents me well. And listen, you want to hear me talk about it? The University of Tennessee football fans, for me, when I moved here from up north, from Chicago, places like that, I don't understand. I'm still it's been 30 years. I'm still trying to get in the mode here that we've had a good season because we won 10 games and we went to a bowl game in Florida and it was a good year. But that's the way that the expectations are based. The expectations are not that we want to win a national championship every year for Tennessee football fans. No, they are not. They are, we want to win 9-10 games and go to a good bowl game and play hard against other good teams, and we're okay going 10-3 and 9-4. If you can go 10-3 and 9-4, you can be at Tennessee a really long time without winning the national championship. You do not have to win the national championship at Tennessee.
You think that was the mentality during Fulmer?
Oh, yeah?
No,
You're ready to fire Phil Fulmer? Let me ask you something, sir.
I totally disagree
When's the last head coach to win the championship before Phil Fulmer then?
Justin, I disagree because I think you base it on the fact that they had those bad years and all of a sudden everybody said, well, let's get 10, 12 wins. Let's get them wins. But before that, they expected the championship because Phil Fulmer won championship.
Let me ask you something, sir. How many national championships did Johnny Majors win?
That's not my point. You're making my point for me because they expected to win when Fulmer came on after Majors.
I'm sorry.
That's why Fulmer didn't last.
Are we talking about conference championships or national championships?
That's why Fulmer didn't last because he didn't take them to the championship again after Majors. Remember, Darren, am I right?
No.
They was expecting
when
them
did
to
Johnny Majors go to the national championship at Tennessee?
I'm just saying I'm not that old to be going back that far. I don't know everything that happened back then. But I do know that after Fulmer left, they expected championships, and they didn't get it. And so that's why when they had those bad years, as a Tennessee fan, I wanted championships, so I got to disagree with that. I'm just saying maybe they accepted 10 or 9. When they got Josh Heupel, they accepted the fact that, hey, we can get 10, 11 wins. Okay, finally. And we've been through Derek Dooley, Bush Jones, and all those guys.
Lane Kiffin and all that. Jeremy Pruitt.
We'll take 10, 11 wins right now.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
They have always taken 10 to 11 wins, always. When Johnny Majors was the head football coach at Tennessee, he won 0 national championships. There were people who were very upset when he was let go. Ask the guy who's going to follow us on April 29th. He was here for that. People lit up his phone lines, very upset that Johnny Majors had been let go in favor of Philip Fulmer, and he won 0 national championships. People were thrilled with him. People were very upset when Philip Fulmer was let go. Why? Because he won the only national championship that university has seen since 1950.
But that doesn't mean they accept 10, 11 wins. That just means they weren't able to win those championships.
At Kentucky, John Calipari wasn't winning national championships. And the natives were what, Darren?
Restless.
At Alabama, every football coach at Alabama had a 10-win season. Every single one after Bear Bryant. They were firing them anyway. Why? They weren't winning national championships. That's the standard. That's the difference. And I know, and this is, I'm passionate about this because I preach this all the time. Because my UT brethren think they understand, but they don't. And that's why I'm frustrated, because they think they get it. Oh, I have high expectations. No, sir. No, you don't. You don't have, they have unreasonable expectations. They want to win the national championship every year. When Tennessee did not win the national championship last year or the year before, people were thrilled. Why? Because the team was relevant again. No one called here and said, this team did all right, but when are we going to start winning championships? Didn't nobody say that? Nobody said.
I'm not sure.
No one said that.
I'm not sure you were listening to the people I was listening to.
I definitely agree with Justin on that.
If they were saying it, they were saying it in mass. They were saying it in small. And there here, and I'll give you this, Damon. There is a small group of Tennessee Vol fans who are very passionate to that level. But is the fan base at large like that? No, they are not. No, sir. No, they are not. Most Tennessee fans are thrilled winning 10 games a year and going to bowl games in Florida. Yes, they are. And I know that's hard to believe. I know. That's hard to hear. And don't nobody want to hear that. I understand that. I get it. Everybody wants to think that, we want to. No, I'm sorry. I've been here since 91. So sorry. I've seen it over and over again. People love Philip Fulmer. And I'm not saying Philip Fulmer didn't need to be loved. I'm just saying. Philip Fulmer had great teams.
You're comparing it to
NFL.
Alabama football and Kentucky basketball, and it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
And people were, we had a great season. Man, we played hard. Boy, I'm proud of how Tennessee played today. Filled up these airwaves and many others around the mid-state. I know because I listened.
Yeah.
So
let's go to Nate down in Columbia. Nate, what's up?
What's up, guys? I've heard Darren say a few times the past shows that he's heard some people say the Preds, doing whatever they do in the playoffs is just kind of, I don't want to say icing on the cake. What were you saying? What was that?
Yeah, no, that icing on the cake. It's just like, it's cool with whatever happens. It's cool. Like this is the way I look at it, Nate. What they're saying, this is already a win. This is a win season, and I'm like, I don't understand that. Like I'm not with you. Like, I don't get that. Like, this season is a success. If they get in the playoffs, it's a success, and that's that. No matter whatever happens. And I'm like, I don't get that. You can have that opinion. I don't get it.
I mean, I kind of get where they're coming from, just because the way that I see it is, if I was thinking all the way back at the beginning, how I felt and have felt all season what they needed to do and didn't do. But I mean, we thought that they were just going to be terrible and everything. So, I mean, I definitely can see where they're coming from. I don't know that I 100% agree on it. I just feel like I'm a little more understanding than you are.
Well, I've caught some of them saying, I thought they were a fringe playoff team going into the season. Well, guess what? They still were a fringe playoff team this season. So it played out exactly, but yet they're satisfied. Like, I thought they were a fringe playoff team, and I'm satisfied with whatever happens. Well, guess what? They ended up being a fringe playoff team. There's 4 games to go. And we're still waiting for a clinch. They're a fringe playoff team.
When they say fringe playoff team, I wonder if their fringe is on the other side of the fringe.
I don't know, but it's like, well, I don't understand. You're saying this is exactly what you thought they were going to be, and so you're completely satisfied with that. So they played out the way you thought, and that's cool for you. And again, if that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. I'm just not going to subscribe to that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. See?
Yeah,
expectations, though.
I wonder if the people saying that were saying basically that the Preds would go from the fringe to the fairway and never make it on the green at Augusta. So
Look at you working that in Augusta week. Look at you.
Thank you, friends.
Man. Little Masters talk.
Day,
Masters talk by Nate in Columbia.
Wow.
Outstanding.
Golf clap. Golf clap.
Oh, I see what you did. Golf clap. Look at it. Man, we're on a roll. Look at you. You got us fired up. You got this thing back on track.
Well, thank
So we've
you.
been drifting all day. Now we're back on track. And Damien, you just keep your mic turned off because that's the reason we keep drifting. I'm just kidding. No, I knew you'd jump in with UT stuff. And look, I agree with some of the stuff I do. I agree with some of the stuff, but I also, Justin, you're right. Here of late, nobody was calling in and saying they were dissatisfied with last season, right? Nobody.
No.
It was like, okay, 8-4. Okay, cool. That's all right.
Yeah, we got Nico coming next year.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, let's go to Adam up in Portland. Adam, what's up?
You want to know what's funny, man, is like I've changed my opinion on this. Like, you look at how the Preds, like, I guess the expectations for the Preds, you're right. They're absolutely a perennial playoff team. There's no reason they should not be making the playoffs. If you go like 2 seasons, John Hines, I'm just glad that guy's not here anymore. I'm not going to get down that rabbit hole and how much I hate that guy. With the Vols, remember how far off the tracks he got with the Vols? You remember at some point in all of our lives, we had Philip Fulmer and Pat Summitt and Bruce Pearl, they were both number one at one point in time. Like, she's winning a championship. Like, how awesome was that to be a Vols fan? And then look at how off track it went.
Yeah.
So that's when it's like, okay, I'm just happy that we're not embarrassing anymore. Like, you remember how bad the coach search was, man. You couldn't pay lunatics to come here and coach, man. You couldn't pay somebody who was like off the rails to come here and coach. Like, it was pathetic. And then we ended up like lucking in to this coach that nobody liked when they hired him, number one. That everybody could pretend like they liked him if they wanted to, but nobody wanted him. They wanted Mike Leach. They wanted, all these hot names, but then it ended up just being super lucky. Now we're happy that we're not an embarrassment anymore. And if he wins us 9-10 games and we're winning, some type of a big bowl game, it doesn't have to be a national championship. We're perfectly fine with that. And anybody, it's the same thing as my last point, is the Rick Barnes talk right now. You hear some people talk about it like he sucks. Like, he made the Elite Eight, man. Like, it's not like Tennessee's a basketball school. They're not. They're always, that's always going to be second, and really, historically, the Lady Vols have always dominated the men. So, like, the fact that he's got them playing that well is awesome. So I think that's changed through the years too, man. I think we could be happy and accepting of what we have right now.
I think, Adam, what's interesting is because if you are perennial every year, when does it, I guess that is the question for fans. When is that, no, acceptable is not the right word. When is it no longer, like, when do you want more? Like, when is
it not enough?
Yeah, there you go. When is it not enough?
Well, I guess you can start turning up the heat on Barry a little bit because Barry's already been, like, kind of impressive. Maybe that comes in the next year or two, but, like, first year in with him, and we all kind of trust him anyway, right? Because we know he's probably invested a little bit more to the city than the next guy. But at the same time, like, everybody's brand new. You're supposed to lose. Like, we expected them to go young and lose, and they've already come in and I think exceeded expectations early. So I think this is all house money right now, man, honestly.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
See?
Thank you, Adam.
See?
Appreciate it. See, there's that house money.
We should break her. Telling you.
Can I say this?
We got to go to the break. Save it for after the break. 615-844-5600 is the phone line and the text line. More of the McFarland Show here on WNSR.
Do you ever feel like gambling is causing financial strain or hurting your relationships? The Gambling Clinic has been helping people who want to change their gambling habits for over 2 decades. With physical clinics and remote online appointments, we're here to help you make informed decisions about your gambling so it doesn't lead to a bigger problem. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com so we can work together to help you win your life back. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is at the heart of Music City. Located within walking distance of the Country Music Hall of Fame, Bar Lines at the Omni is your downtown honky-tonk destination. Watch your team from any seat on their plentiful HD TVs and catch a live show on the Bar Lines stage featuring live music 7 days a week. Bar Lines has the ultimate Southern comfort food. Get started with classic fried green tomatoes or bourbon barbecue wings. Then it's on to the massive Smashville double stack, or the world famous Bar Lines grinder. Oh, you've never heard of the Bar Lines grinder? 2 kinds of cheese, lettuce, Dijon, smoked turkey, smoked bacon, smoked ham. Now that's some smoke you want. Local brews and local spirits are on tap at Bar Lines. Take a seat on the patio outside and soak up the rhythm of Music City. Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
The battle for a 7th straight division crown starts right now, and the East already knows. Don't sleep on the Atlanta Braves.
Swung on, hit it, a left field base hit. Here comes Michael. He's going to score. 5-4 Atlanta.
Tonight, it's National League East Baseball from Truist Park as Ronald Acuna and the Braves square up against division rivals, the New York Mets.
Pre-game coverage begins at 6:05 p.m. live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Back here on the McFarland Show, live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. And this is a day where I think I'd like to go to 6 o'clock. And we're going to, starting April 29th. But it'll be George Plaster taking over at 4 o'clock.
Different group.
Yeah, for 2 hours. But the passion that was felt in this Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio during the break was impressive. Like that's what Sports Talk Radio is. It's about passion. Being a fan is about passion. And Justin,
yes,
you
sir.
spoke to the UT fan across the way, and you pulled at his heartstrings. And there's a lot of other UT fans out there that we know, we talk to all the time. And it is interesting because I actually see both of your sides. I really, really do. Because you're pointing at two fan bases, and this is where, because I get the same thing. You've lived a little bit in the Alabama covenant. You've seen it down there, so you understand what that expectation is, because it truly is. It is about winning. I grew up in Lexington. I know that mentality. I haven't been there, and I don't get back much. Mentality hasn't changed. And that's why when I laugh, and I kind of like what you're doing, right? I laugh when I hear people talking about the Kentucky basketball program. I'm like, you don't know. You don't know. Because I listened to Jay Williams, who I have a lot of respect for. In fact, I don't know if I sent that clip or not. It doesn't matter. We don't need to play.
From Duke, correct? On ESPN?
Yes, Jay
Okay.
Williams, who was the number one pick in the draft, NBA draft. Unfortunately,
I think he was.
He got hurt. Didn't
Well,
he? It was a motorcycle wreck.
accident.
Motorcycle accident. It basically derailed his career. Okay, he got drafted by the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
He was a tremendous player at Duke, and now he's on College Game Day on the basketball side of things, and does really good work at ESPN. But But he got on, Get Up on Monday morning, and he was just preaching about how John Calipari is this and that. And he went to 4 Final Fours, and he won a national championship, and then Kentucky doesn't know. It's like, bro, you're 4 Final Four. Like, that's a decade ago, man. Bro, you're living in the early days of John Calipari. You don't get a pass forever at Kentucky, just like you don't get a pass in Alabama for football. Mike Shula won 10 games. Mike Shula's one of theirs.
Yeah.
And they ran him out on a rail.
Yeah.
The next season, he won like 7 games, and they're like, goodbye.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
And that's the part we're talking about. And it's interesting. And so, look, this is not about, saying how you should feel, but I do wonder, at one point, do you say, okay, I'm curious about this fan base here. We're talking about this market. When is it just going to be where it's not enough? Because in other markets, and I don't want us to be other markets. That's what I love about this market. I don't want us to be Philadelphia. I used to say all the time, if you are that person that I ran into at Bridgestone Arena or at Nissan Stadium, and if that was you, and if you live here, that Philadelphia fan, whether it was the Eagles game or the Flyers game, if you live here, would you please put a for sale sign in your front yard and get back to Philadelphia? I'm not asking for this market to be that. Okay? But I do wonder at what point, if you've been here for a good portion or all of the time of professional sports, at what point do you say, when is it going to happen? Like, we're out of the honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase is over. We're in year 25. Like, I don't know when that officially runs out, Justin, but I would say 25 years is no longer dating or the honeymoon phase. True?
True. What drives sports passion is heartbreak. And in my opinion, what drives it is heartbreak. And I don't know the answer to this. You would be a much better judge of this than I would. Has Predator fans ever really had their heart broken, like in a Steve Bartman, in a Bill Buckner, in a the Cleveland Indians have had some bad ones.
You're picking some really far extremes.
Those are big ones. Those are big ones. But I'm just saying, and every fan base has got their own. When I went to Kansas City, they were ready to hunt down Tom Brady because they felt like they had been done wrong by the referees and Tom Brady in years prior, and they were very upset about that. Every local market's got its thing, its sore spot, where you touch it there, it's going to yelp.
Titans have 3, in my opinion.
They do.
2 Ravens games and a Bengals game.
Okay.
Those are 3 literally pull out, rip out, whatever, however you want to describe it, that's ripping the guts out of fans.
But that stirs passion.
Yeah.
Those things are the things that come back up every single playoff loss at the end of every season. Those are the things that have callers call in and say, it's never going to happen. We're never going to be good. We might as well just take what we got. The franchise is never going to do anything. It's those moments there that drive that. I can't, and again, you would know because you're our Preds historian, for lack of a better term. I don't remember a situation where the Predators have had their heart broken to that extent, to where the fan base was slightly devastated at what happened.
That's a really good.
Because that's the thing.
The second round, this Game 7 to the Jets, like that round losing with the season that they put in where they won the President's trophy, like that.
Expectations were
after
high.
Just coming off the cup.
Expectations were high.
That was clearly, but Justin.
Yes, sir.
It's a great question. You just said it. The Cubs, and they won it though. But for 8 years, you're like, yeah, but my temperature's a little bit more on simmer, right? Or it's on a lower setting.
Yeah.
Remember, they're just removed from a magical run to the Stanley Cup final. So while it stung, it didn't, like those examples you put out there, those are,
Listen, Steve Bartman, Cubs were 3-1.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
So I can't say it's to that level. All right, we'll come back and put a bow on Tuesday's edition of the McFarland Show next.
And now, Paramount Roofing and Exteriors, LLC is proudly saluting our troops and veterans. Their tireless efforts should never go unnoticed. This message is brought to you by Paramount Roofing and Exteriors, LLC, serving Middle Tennessee. For all your roofing and exterior needs, give the pros a call today at 615-635-1790. 615-635-1790. That's Paramount Roofing and Exteriors, LLC. They're professionals who care. Attention business owners. WNSR has some exciting opportunities for your business to thrive in the dynamic world of sports radio advertising. As the proud home of some of your favorite sports teams like the Atlanta Braves, Memphis Grizzlies, and more, we understand the power of sports in bringing people together and creating a passionate community. We believe that your business can become an integral part of this experience, reaching a diverse and engaged audience. Contact the WNSR sales team for an opportunity to discuss how Nashville's sports radio can elevate your brand to new heights. Whether you're interested in a specific sponsorship package or would like a customized solution, we are here to meet your advertising needs. Call 615-844-1039. 615-844-1039 or email saleswnsr@gmail.com. That's saleswnsr@gmail.com.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
And now, Ramirez's Handyman and Framing is proudly saluting our troops and veterans. Please go to USO.org and locate Military Care Package to see how you could help make a difference today. This message is brought to you by Ramirez's Handyman and Framing. For all your residential or commercial framing, roofing, sodding, and handyman needs, no job's too big or too small. So give the pros a call at 972-684-0750. 972-684-0750. That's Ramirez's Handyman and Framing. They're professionals who care.
Hey, this is George Plaster, looking forward to joining the WNSR family Monday, April the 29th with Kelly Holcomb, Watson Brown, and Billy Derrick. We'll continue to broadcast from the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue, but now we have the ability to take your phone calls. 4 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, April 29th. We'll get it started. Hope you'll join us on Nashville Sports Radio.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Anybody who's spent any amount of time around George has an impression of George, right? Speaking of impressions, this man has made a living off impressions, and it was pretty funny. Here's just a little clip of Frank Caliendo talking about Charles Barkley in the coverage of the NCAA March Madness. Here it is.
Unbelievable situation where he's the only guy who can do that, be totally unprepared, and it's better, right? You watch him, he's like, what's the guy's name? He can't get names right. He's like, Flippadowski. It's Filipowski. Filipowski. Yeah. He's been one of the top college players all year. How do you say that, Ernie? Flippadowski? Filipowski. Oh, that's what I meant. Filipowski. Filipowski did a really nice job. You know. Then he passed it to the guy with the headband. You don't know any of the players. That number 75. There's no 75 out there. 75 had the headband with Flippadowski. None of those things are real.
Flippadowski.
What do you think? Because there are people that have pretty strong. Like, what do you think of Charles and Kenny Smith? the Jet being a part of the coverage. And they've been doing this for years. This is not anything new.
I don't have a problem with it. Do people have a problem with it?
Yeah, because I think people understand that their main gig is the NBA, and they don't. I think Kenny is much better at masking it. To Charles's credit, he doesn't care. Like Charles is Charles. I mean, he doesn't care.
Yeah,
he's going to do his thing no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with him, doing the coverage.
Speaking of, did you see the Saturday Night Live skit on Barkley?
Oh yeah,
they ripped him on this past Saturday.
He's been there, done that 1,000 times.
I know.
He eats off it, quite literally.
All right, we thought we'd have a laugh on the way out. It's been heated. It's been very spirited today. Very passionate show. We'll try to bring that same passion tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 o'clock.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
That's right. This is that Gelb Show on CBS Sports Radio. John Calipari, as you know, he is leaving Kentucky. He confirmed that today with a video to Big Blue Nation from his couch. I didn't see any dog in it today. I didn't see any stroller in it today. And now we await for the official announcement that he is going to be the next coach at Arkansas. Samter sent me some photo that's going around the good old internet. And it's inside, and I'm assuming that this is true. Maybe it's photoshopped. If it is, then who cares? Because we all know what's going to happen. But it was inside the Arkansas facility, and there's already a photo of the new leader of the Pig Suey Chin and John Calipari in Arkansas red. So people are already working up the Photoshop skills, and they're doing it pretty damn good. So that's going to be the inevitable. And now we wait on what Kentucky is going to do next. Nate Oates made it clear yesterday he's not going to Kentucky. Jay Wright will play that audio later. Kind of said he wasn't going. I know he's not going, but a lot of people said, oh, this is convincing audio last night. I didn't think it was convincing audio. And we also know that Ann Hurley is not leaving UConn for Kentucky. So who else remains? I don't think Rick Pitino's a serious candidate. Debbie Antonelli was on with this yesterday. She suggested Brad Stevens. But I think this is going to be, and I said this yesterday,